people, and welcome you all for this roadshow or the presentation. And without taking much time, I think I will start the presentation, and that will give me an opportunity to introduce myself, my co-founder Meghna, how we started our journey and how it has been going all these years. So, most of us have already been mentioned by our names. I will straight away go to the next one. So, how the whole Indiqube journey started? So, I was born, brought up in Lucknow, and then did my engineering from IIT Roorkee, and then worked for a IT company in 1997 in Noida, and then left my job. And my brother passed on, Anshuman, who is the other non-executive director, shareholder in the company. He passed from IT Delhi. He joined Infosys. And then both of us left our jobs early on and decided to go entrepreneur. We started our first company called CareerNet. And as I talk, CareerNet is one of the leading recruitment companies in India, a full-scale recruitment provider with about 1,500 plus employees across the country. So what was happening for CareerNet, every 2 years we were changing office. We were quite fed up with that. And in 2013, we decided that let's pick up a 100,000 square foot office in Bangalore. And 50% we will occupy for CareerNet, 50% we will give it out to different clients. And when those guys came in, they started asking, can I use your boardroom once a month, training room, we are providing food, we are providing transport and all of that. So we were happy to extend all of that. And in doing that is where we realized that there is a big gap in the market. You either have tech parks or you have very swanky buildings like the ones you have in Lower Parel or BKC or in UBCT kind of buildings in Bangalore. But if you step out of those kind of properties, there was no concept of branded offices at that time. So we thought that why don't we create something which is a lot more accessible, affordable and high on functionality. So with that intent is where the idea of Indiqube was born. And my late father, Mr. Anandas, and my better half, also my co-founder in this journey, Meghna, they both started Indiqube. Me, I was helping them more part-time because my full-time job initially was with my recruitment business. And we picked up our first property of 160,000 square feet in Bangalore. Within a matter of 5-6 months, the whole asset got leased out. It gave us a lot of confidence that we have hit something big. And let's start building on it. Then I started operationally weaning off from my responsibilities at CareerNet, left it to my brother and a tenure team there, and moved full time into this. And that's where the whole journey started. In 2018, we raised a round of capital because this required a lot of money, and we being first generation entrepreneurs did not have that kind of capital. So Westbridge put in 90 crore of funding in that. It also saw participation from Ashish Gupta, who is the managing partner at Innovent Ventures. We started growing, and then COVID happened. COVID was a moment of reckoning for us. But from the beginning, we were very much focused on, we always believed that this business is an enterprise business, large size, long stay type of clients. So most of our clients stayed back. And even at the peak of COVID, when nobody was coming to office, we were able to collect majority of our rentals over there. So that was a big validation of our business model. When the green shoots started emerging, we drew as another round of capital. This was a 225 crore round. And Westbridge put in 100 crores. 125 crores was invested by us from our recruitment business. We started expanding to tier 2 cities. Coimbatore was one of those early cities. And as I talk, we are in 15 cities, 115 centers, with 8.4 million square feet of area under management. Meghna, would you like to give an introduction about yourself?
I'll give you a very short 30 seconds. Hi. Okay. I don't know if you found a lot of founders were nervous, but I'm very nervous. So I don't know how it. So I'm a small town girl, born and brought up in Alwar, Rajasthan. So oldest of the 3 sisters, and I want to be like the wannabe banker. And so I did my qualified company secretary, and then I did my MBA. I worked in Singapore Stock Exchange for a few months, but then the September 11 attack happened. The market was down, everything was down, the financial markets were down. The marriage seemed to be a better idea. Shadi thi kari, so I came back to India and got married. That time I met Rishi, and so he was toying with one of the ideas called recruitment process management. So So I didn't have any baggage. It was lack of, I would say, choice. I'm an entrepreneur by accident, not by choice. I always knew that with the qualification I had, I can always come back to the job. But then I said, okay, let me start. As I said, because of lack of options, I started hyper consulting. Did it for 3 years. We were profitable, doing really well, and grew to about 100 people. But then again, I got pregnant and I had a very difficult pregnancy. So I took sabbatical for a few years. Then I started in manufacturing sector. And again, being an Agarwal Marwari girl, the loss making, we do not understand. It was profitable again, but then I realized because of 10 paisa, people would change their loyalties because it's a commodity market and it's a highly capital intensive industry. And I wanted to come back in the corporate world, and that's how 2015 the Indiqube opportunity arose. And since then, I've been a part of Indiqube growth story.
Thank you. Yeah, would you like to take this one?
Is it okay? I mean, we were sitting, I can talk in this. Yeah. So Indiqube, when we started, it was not to do like we're going to be flexible or managed or co-working player. It was always an integrated workspace solutions. Meaning by like if you go to large enterprises, we would not say, okay, we have 100 buildings, can you come and use our, why don't you just come and shift our buildings? We always had a solution-based approach. Like, okay, what are your real estate needs? Where is your talent residing? So we took the solution approach, and in that case, it was like an integrated workspace managed solution. So we do have a model called Grow, which you could see, which is like a plug and play. But there were a lot of companies which were saying, hey, I do already have a center, but can you do interiors for me? Can you do design and build for me? Can you manage it for me? That is a bespoke model. My one model is something, can you just do the services for me? Because I do have the center. So the whole ethos is everybody comes on the Indiqube platform. The experience is consistent. For us, the employee is the hero of the story. So any experience or any services which enhances the employee experience in the workspace, that is what we do. And the second one was the follow the talent strategy. Depending on the talent depth, the product got evolved. So there are micro markets in which we've just probably in our floor of a tech park, but there are a lot of micro markets in which all my products are there, whether it is a floor, whether it's an independent building, whether it's a new building or a renovated product. So we have this follow the talent strategy, and that is what the slide is all about, what the business working on.
Yeah, thank you. This gives you at a glance of Indiqube. As I said that we manage a portfolio of about 8.4 million square feet, present in 15 cities, 8 tier 1s and 7 tier 2s, 115 centers. We have a portfolio of more than 1,80,000 seats. Total unique clients that we have is 769. 60% of these clients are directly acquired by us. So that is a good plus for us. That brand Indiqube seems to be working for us well. At an overall portfolio level, occupancy is north of 85%, and 44% of our clients are global capability centers, and this number is increasing. If you look at 3 years, it's been growing. We are CRISIL A+ rated. Last 3 years, CRISIL has been consistently upgrading our rating, and our debt comes from low-cost debt. It comes from 2 banks, one being a large nationalized bank, and our revenue for the year gone by, as per India's accounting standard, is 1102 crores, and we have a EBITDA margin of 58.2% with a cash EBIT of 114 crores. Our ROCE has been very healthy all this while, and at end of 25 it is 34%. This gives you an idea about the pan-India footprint. We have 5.4 million square feet in Bangalore, leads the pack, followed by Chennai, Pune like that. And to give you an idea, Bangalore is the largest and the fastest growing office market in the country. And among the fastest growing market, not just in India, but across the world. If you look in the Asia Pacific region, Bangalore absorbs maximum amount of real estate. Bangalore has, as per CBRE data, end of calendar 25, about 28 million square feet of office space, and we have 5.4 million. So we have very, very dominant share in Bangalore. So the point I'm emphasizing is the largest, fastest growing market in the country. We have very, very dominant position in that market over there. And then if you look at tier 2, this is where a lot of growth is happening. What is happening? People like me who are now almost turning 50, we went where jobs were. Now jobs are going where people are. I think that is a big shift that has happened. And that is leading to the rise of tier 2 cities in a very big way. Companies are looking for distributed offices rather than having one large fat campus anywhere over there. So as a result, you see like Coimbatore and all getting added in a big way. We have a concept of key micro markets because as you can imagine in the real estate business, location plays a very, very important role. 85% of our properties are located in key micro markets, which means basically these markets have witnessed low vacancy levels, good rental inflation, a very defensible story has been there in all these locations. If you look at our centers, as Meghna highlighted, we have a follow the talent strategy, which essentially means that typically like we have small centers, large centers, we have centers which are basically like even floors in tech parks. 50% of our buildings are more than 100,000 square feet. And we also have a good number of centers which are more than 2 lakh going up to 5 lakh square feet over there. We have a hub and spoke strategy. A typical case is point being Koramangala, where we have 11 centers, and as you can see, the largest center we have in Koramangala is a 2,20,000 square feet building, and the smallest being a few thousand square feet. So what it allows us to do is, if we have a startup which is very budget conscious, is not looking at a very big one, we are able to accommodate them into smaller centers or an innovative building. But if we have a global capability centers, we can put them into one of our larger buildings. Also, the hub and spoke strategy allows us, suppose you require a boardroom or you require to do an open house. Those can be done in your larger centers, and the smaller centers becomes feeder to that. So this gives us a lot of economies of scale, operational excellence, all of that using the hub and spoke model. Again, if you see here below about basically we have two types of buildings, full buildings and part buildings. Our 64% buildings are full buildings, and within that almost half the buildings are renovated buildings. So think about this way that sitting in this part of Bombay, ceiling has started, metro will start in few months. Now imagine every other old building in Nariman Point area will come up for renovation. Bangalore, MG Road saw that same transformation over the last decade. So we are a renovation champion. 30% of our buildings are renovated buildings which are 20 to 50 year old. We pick those buildings and we upgrade those buildings typically to a level of a green building and make them relevant. 1/3 of our portfolio is floors, basically, which is beyond the 64%. These are essentially grade A plus office spaces in tech parks where we pick up floors. So imagine if I have to go to a VKC and VKC has a 1 million square foot building. We can't be taking the whole building. We will take 100,000 or 50,000 square foot floor plate in that building. And then typical occupiers will be the global capability centers. So what we have, if we are very sure about the maintenance management of the building, we don't mind going on a floor if it's a grade A plus building. But if we are going to an Andheri or a Koramangala kind of location, we prefer picking up full building so that we control the whole experience over there. 80% of our properties are within the proximity of metro stations. 3.2 million square feet out of this 8.4 million is already green buildings, and most of these buildings we have transformed them to green. So as a tenant, you would have not heard many times people transforming our existing building to a green building. So we are green champions on that. Another thing I will highlight here is that in India, out of this 950 million square feet of office space which India has as per CBRE data end of calendar 25, 52% buildings are more than 10 years old, and 44% of the buildings are non-green buildings. So imagine come 2030, if you are a large company, I think most of us will prefer to be in a green building. Now all these buildings have to transition to green. Renovated buildings, renovation has to happen at very, very large scale. So as Indiqube, we see a very, very important gap, a very, very big opportunity. And that is where we see that our total addressable market is almost the entire 1 billion square feet. That is, it is not just about the 70-80 million square feet that India adds every year. We see a very large TAM over there.
No, I mean, this is a very self-explanatory slide in which we have a few, I would say, the brand names, with the kind of clients do we have it, and it shows the spectrum of the clients, starting from the startup to the Indian MNCs to the GCCs. We have about 44% of our clients in GCC sector, and Our sourcing is very important. Almost close to 60% of our clients are sourced directly, so we have an in-house team. So 1/3 in that, also 60%, 50% is from the existing client expansion. So what that means, so when we go to any micro market, the dominance is very important. So we pretty much knows, because 90% of our portfolio is taken proactively, so we pretty much knows that the clients who are going to expand. So before even we take the building, we would probably would have an idea about the demand also. And that is how we move, that follow the TAM strategy you're talking about. And when we say multi-center deal is 44.1%, is in last few years it was 30%, but now it has increased to 44.1, meaning they have taken more than one center. It's like a multi-center deal, which adds to the stickiness. It's like one partner neck to choke, right? When they just call me, okay, I'm taking office in Pune, Bangalore, Hyderabad. So it's just one stop solution is what we're talking about, and that adds to the whole stickiness of the model we have.
If you look at here on the right side, the pictograph, as I said earlier, that our typical customer is a large size, long stay customer. So people, that 63% of our area is occupied by clients who have taken 300 plus seats. And they typically provide us a lock-in commitment of 36 months with a lease tenure of about 46 months. So that gives us a lot of stability to our portfolio. And our less than 100 seats is only 13%. Even though the numbers are small here, this is also a very important component because a large part of our customers also start small and they grow. It's like play school feeding into a school business. So this 13% acts like a play school for us.
It's like an infant strategy, because a lot of startups with GCs which are less than $5 billion, they do not know where they're going to open an office. So we're not talking about the largest like the Googles and the Microsofts of the world, but the smaller GCs also is a large market, and then they start young. They act like a feeder to us. It's like an acquisition strategy. So we give them, starting from 1 seat, we can go up to more than 3,000 seats. So although the portion is lower, but this is a very, very crucial portion for us. So when we're designing a product, whether it is a building, any building or a floor, 8 to 10% of the building is so-called co-working, or I would say less than 100 seats or less than 50 seats, which would be typical for 1 seat, 4 seater, 8 seater. And for the rest of the whole entire product would be the customized, because the moment you go more than 100 seats, people would want to enter into their own office rather than entering into Indiqube office, right? So they would want to have their own colors, ethos and all. So that 85% of the product is designed once we sign with client. That is what we're talking here.
A little bit about our technology, that is very, very important and vital. If you look at last financial year, more than 1 million transactions have happened using the Innovent app. And to give you one instance, and like through the employee app, people are able to book their food, transport, seat, parking, a lot of that. A lot of companies are able to manage their benefits using our app. So think about it, that if you're providing your employees subsidy on food, transport, a lot of that, and if some employee of yours is bringing dabba from home, can that employee use the same subsidy on transport? Or if you are not bringing the car to the office, can your parking subsidy be used on basically mobility app kind of a thing? So what Innovent app allows companies to put all the subsidies that they are giving to their employees on the app and let the employee manage that. Think about it, if you want people to come early to office and you are able to say that if you come before 10 in the morning, you can give them a 50 rupee breakfast coupon, and that comes as a top up on your wallet. So those are, companies are able to make their subsidies very targeted, drive the right employee behaviors, all that is possible, and we are seeing very active adoption of that as we go forward. If you look at here, this gives you an idea of the growth from between 23 and 25. We have grown at a good CAGR of about 35% revenue. Value-added services revenue is a very integral part for us. As Meghna mentioned, that beyond the grow, when we look at Bespoke, Indiqube One, all these cornerstone, all these products, they basically constitute 13% of our revenue, 12.7% revenue. And this number was 11% in 23. So this as a percentage has been consistently growing. We have a very healthy revenue to rent ratio, meaning by that what we are paying to our landlords as rent and what we are charging our clients as revenue, that is growing. That shows that customers are buying more and more services from us, or we are able to add a lot more value-added services. Typical engagement model with our landlords is shown below. We take properties on long leases between 10 to 20 years, like the way hotel industry does. And our landlords are locked in for the entire tenure. They can't ask us to vacate because we have put capital expenditure in the asset. We provide, on the other hand, a lock-in of 36 months to our landlord. So we can get in or get out after 36 months. So that gives us a lot of flexibility, typically to manage our asset liability. What we spend is around 1500 rupees per square feet on the capital expenditure on the building. So what happens, as Meghna said earlier, that when we pick up a large building, say 200,000 square feet building, on the ground floor we will develop the amenities and other services proactively. 90% of the fit outs are done once the customer signs up. So suppose the customer comes asking for a floor, we sign up, the customer gives us a lock-in of 33 months, which is our average weighted tenure, and we do the 1500 rupees capital expenditure. By the time my tenant is getting out, since our payback periods are very less, for 25 months, we practically recover the cost of our capital expenditure. So it means that 90% of capital expenditure that we do is done against a client requirement. It's not done proactively. That doesn't mean we are doing back-to-back only. Back-to-back is some part of our revenue, but most of our buildings are multi-tenancy over there. And that allows us to also ensure that we do not have mismatch on that segment.
And that slide is also very important, just to add that in one lock-in, the payback time, the asset is getting free. So so quality of asset is very, very important. Because of this, you have to sweat the same asset. Because you've got 33 months lock-in and the 25 payback, you're left with a free cash flow, right? So if the quality of asset is not good, then we are very, very particular of the quality of asset, no matter whichever product we're talking about.
This gives you idea of the basically our portfolio. So if you look at 25 numbers, total area under management is 8.4 million. 6.2 million is, which is basically the operational area, the rentable area, and out of this 5.33 million is what is already occupied, which gives us an occupancy of 85.12%. Now if you notice, between 8.4 and 6.26 there is a delta of about 2.1 million. So this is our headroom for growth. Typically like almost 30% plus area we have, which will get delivered to us basically over the next 6 to 24 months. Either these properties are under renovation, or these are newer properties or under construction properties that will get added to our portfolio. We have talked about that. So our promoter shareholding currently is 70%. So we had the responsibility that we create a very good independent board. And keeping that in mind is where Sandeep joined board. He's a co-founder of Westbridge Capital 6 months back. Our independent directors include Naveen Tiwari, who is a founder of Innovent. He's a Harvard alumni. Murli Krishna, he was running a business where they were doing outsourced CFO for a large number of global capability centers. Trilegal is one of the largest law firms in India. Rahul Matan is a founder partner there. Sachi Krishna, she is a senior Tata Institute of Sciences HR person. She was in the leadership role in HR at Amazon and Wipro in her earlier roles. So good board we have created, which keeps both me and Meghna on toes and keeps the guardrails on.
So basically this slide we're particularly proud of, the way we are very proud of our CRISIL A+ rating, because being 70% shareholder, we could have got anyone, right? But the whole idea of being the independent board, that they should push us, not just in terms of growth and all, but also in terms of governance and integrity, which is very, very integral part of the whole organization. So, and we took a lot of effort to put this board together, and a diverse board, and that is why the slide has been put up.
Little bit on the shareholding pattern, as I mentioned, 70% is held by promoters, 27% is by Westbridge. There is a ESOP, and Ashish holds 0.9%. Post listing, this is how the shareholding pattern will look like. The public and employees combined will be 15 point some percentage over there. Total size we have is 700 crores. 650 crores is primary. The OFS is a very small component of 50 crores, 25 crores being done by Meghna, 25 by myself. Out of this 650 crores, 462 crores will go towards the capital expenditure towards newer centers. 93 crores will be used towards repayment of debt. Our total debt is 300 30 crores, 32 crores, and out of which we have a solar plant. We have put up a 20 megawatt solar plant in Karnataka. About more than 50% of the plant is already operational now, and the rest is getting commissioned as we talk over here. So that allows us to have a very large green power and also helps us cut down our electricity bills very substantially. So 93 crores will be used towards the repayment of part repayment of the debt, and the rest of the money will be used for general corporate purposes. Thank you, and happy to have
So in the end,